You could freshen everybody on that roster up if everybody was active.
For hours and hours and hours, the same people. Nobody like reruns.
Nobody cares at some point.
Nobody cares at that point. And they got such great talent there, not only at the studio, but the people that down at the school and stuff. And there's so much he could be putting on there instead of having somebody out there talking for 30 minutes.
Right.
And people, when you turn to a wrestling match, imagine a football game. You do football like that. What do you think would happen to football?
It wouldn't draw the numbers it draws now.
Yeah, that the interviews be longer
right.
than the game. Imagine a baseball game where the interview is longer than the game, or any sport. That's the only, if he's going to USA, they want to be more sport-orientated.
Fox, you mean?
Fox. If they want to be more sport-orientated, what they have to do is do what they say, sports.
You know,
not a talk show.
For a genre that wants to be so innovative, and for Vince McMahon, the creative person that he is, they still use a recycled formula week after week from the Monday Night Wars, and those ended back in 2001. You need to change up the formula. What it was back then when you tried to get guys on TV every week, when you were going head-to-head, you wanted every top star on, and you didn't want to overexpose them in matches, there was a point to it. But now where you have Raw and SmackDown that are unopposed by anything, for them to stick to that formula where there are so many long, boring, repetitive in-ring promos, along with matches that are filled with too many guys that are overexposed. I mean, I wouldn't have a guy wrestle on TV more than once or twice a month to make the matches actually have some oomph to them.
I would ask this question.
All right.
What do the United States military and professional wrestling have in common? The answer is that when they send our soldiers to fight in a war, the politicians try to run the war instead of letting the soldiers fight. Where in wrestling, the writers try to run the show instead of letting the wrestler do it. In my day, they would say, Tony, you're going to wrestle Dan Morello. You got 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You got 30 minutes. We want you over. Boom. The rest was up to me and you. Now they would say, Tony Atlas, we're going to wrestle Dan Morello. This is what you're going to say, and this is what you're going to do in the ring. They won't let me be Tony Atlas. They won't let Hulk Hogan be Hulk Hogan. They will not let Andre the Giant be Andre the Giant. You had to be what the writer imagined you to be. And your script is written before they know you could do it. In my day, they let you be who you are. That's why it looked more natural. Mm-hmm. It looked more realistic because you have to think on your feet. You know, you have to feel the crowd. You have to work with the crowd. You didn't have a scripted match. Like I'm over that roster of Airborne. What was the name?
Who?
They called him Airborne. They used to come off the rope.
Evan Bourne.
Evan Bourne. And as I was all the way out, Vince said, well, don't let us down, Tony. And I almost said, I kept my mouth shut, I almost said, well, it ain't up to me, Vince, what we do out there. I had no say-so in that match. The match was scripted the way they wanted me to wrestle.
You wrestled Evan Bourne?
Yeah.
I don't remember that
YouTube.
I know you get in there from time to time. Yeah, I know that. You weren't strictly a manager.
From every move was scripted. I would have not done a match like that. I would not have done that. It didn't make sense to me, you know, but that's the way they did it. It was all scripted. You go with Andre the Giant, you put Andre the Giant in against Little Louie the Midget, Andre would just pick him up and throw him out the ring.
Right.
You put Hogswallow against the Big Show, Hogswallow would come up the top rope, splash him and pin him.
They think that's entertaining.
We call that insulting the people intelligence.
Sure is.
That's what we would have called it in my day. Because what we want to do, we knew the object of the game is keeping the people wanting to see more. That was number one, always leaving them wanting to see more. And another thing that we always try to do, George Scott told me this. He's in Charleston, South Carolina, my first match. George Scott was my father, my mentor, my dad, my everything.
You love George Scott.
Love him to death, still love him. He died at 80 years old, but if it wasn't for him, the one that created Tony Atlas. he walked by and said, "Hey kid, you see all them people out there?" He said, "Everybody out there believes that wrestling is fake. It is your job to prove to them that it's not." So when they go home, they think it. Is it real or is it not? Is it real or is it not? Is it real? They think it is. They say, "Well, I got to go back next week to see." So they come back next week to see if it's real or if it's not.
I don't know if that's always been everybody's, but it was never my point of contention. I used to enjoy it for what it was.
Like I said, he died at 80.
Yeah.
He wrestled all over the world, and he's not here to defend himself.
Right.
All I'm doing, I'm just a messenger.
What George said.
That's what he said.
Right, fair
and
enough.
they drew, and he made Ric Flair. They sold out Charlotte. He,
Yep.
He had one of the best heads in the business, but he knew how the fans thought. They wanted that mistake. Just like Mil Mascara, that's why he never took the mask off. That's why wrestling too never took the mask off. People now know who he is.
Yeah.
So now he wouldn't draw you flies.
Right.
Because you know who's under the mask.
There's no mystique.
No more. They took that away. See, nothing to work, nothing to guess by. People always got curiosity is in everybody. You don't see people driving a truck out in the street, it's an accident, right? What do everybody do? We call it rubbernecking.
They turn.
That's us. That's us. But if you know what's behind door number 1 and door number 2 and door number 3 before they open the door, that's what we call ring psychology. That is not being taught no more. And Vince got rid of that because to him, that was part of his father's way of doing business. So he eliminated ring psychology. The only person I see there that use it is Triple H. That's why I say he's the best there because he got good.
You've mentioned that
ring.
before, but again, Triple H has been a match or two a year guy for a while now.
It don't matter.
He's not one of them.
It don't matter. One of his matches will be remembered more than Daniel Bryan's 100 matches.
Fair enough.
That's my point. I mean, nobody gonna remember a damn thing Daniel Bryan do. No, but CM Punk gone. Nobody remember him. It was like his number was there.
Well, that's not true at all. They still chant his name every week.
Nobody cares. Trust me. Nobody cares about these guys when they go. When Bruno left, people cared. When these guys leave, nobody cares.
I think you're right, but you're wrong, including CM Punk. There are some top guys that do matter, and he is commanding a fortune in his personal appearances. The money he made.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys doing it.
Well, when fans are bored, they'll still chant CM Punk at WWE live events.
At my point, if Bruno didn't show up,
it was a problem.
The whole territory, it was a problem. CM Punk don't show up, the John Cena don't show up, not a problem. The show would go on. I've seen it.
I agree with you on about 95% of the roster.
Yeah, but it's no more ring psychology.
That's fine, but we're talking about two different things: ring psychology and advertising talent. That's two different things.
No, it's not. Same thing. Because the ring psychology is what ring psychology it really means is putting asses in a seat, getting viewers. That's what it means. You want to leave enough there where people is interested in your product. Ring psychology is what get people interested in the product. What makes people come back to want to know more about the product. Without ring psychology, people know what's going on. Everything is exposed to them.
It reminds me.
It's got nothing to come back to see. It's kind of like a stripper. She take off a glove, and you go, oh. She take off another piece, another piece, another piece, and you going, oh. Instead of she going out, just rip everything all off at once. Now you've seen everything.
Yeah.
The show is over.
I compare it to when you don't have the ring psychology, it's almost like you take one of those big 500-piece jigsaw puzzles and just dump them. And you just pick up random piece. Oh, this is a nice move. This is a nice move. But unless you put the entire puzzle together, you just have random puzzle pieces just laying around meaningless.
See, ring psychology was invented back in my day to give the people something to talk about. Because we didn't have cables, we didn't have all this stuff. So we went from month to month or from week to week. Like in Boston, now we had to do something to keep the people thinking about us until next month. We had to think about this for next month. We didn't have the hype, And then the wrestling came on late at night anyway, what, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning in some places.
Some cities, yeah.
In some cities, so it wasn't prime time either.
No.
So but we had to
In
do
Boston,
something.
it was usually, at least when I
So
was a
it was
kid,
a
it was on Saturday morning. It wasn't prime
It was
time.
a curiosity, and it stayed that way.
Right.
It stayed that way to people. People didn't change. Wrestling changed, not people. People see things the same way they did in my day. It's just that we changed. What we did, we figured that we could dictate what the people think and feel. Instead of letting the people, the old answer said this 100 times, listen to the people. Listen to the people. Donald Trump, President Trump said, supply and demand. That was the secret, supply and demand. We gave the people what they want, but not so much where they got bored with
So
it.
you gave them everything they wanted.
We didn't give them
A little
everything.
bit.
We give them, this is kind of strange though, the way Dusty Rhodes explained it. He says it's like jerking off. And just when you get ready to drop your load, you pull it away.
You think Lanny does that to himself?
I don't know what that is. But that's how the late, great Dusty Rhodes used to explain it to me, used to explain it to the younger kid. That's pretty much what it was like. Always leaving the people wanting to see more.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.